Hello students, Namaste. Welcome to this new session of Python. Today we are going to continue with the Abelon dataset which we had studied last time. Now, before we go further, we just try to revise what we had done last time. We had taken up a new database of Abelon, basically sea snails, and we were trying to study some of the characteristics. That is, we had downloaded the CSV file from the machine learning repository, and what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to find the age of the Abelon. Now we had discussed last time that yes, you can do it physically using the biological means or biological experiments, but for the scientists that takes a significant amount of time and that is expensive also. Against that, if the same process is done making use of machine learning, yes, of course, you should have some statistics, some data about uh, some of the abelons, their weights and all that. Let me just open the CSV file. Yes, here it is. See, as you can see, there are several attributes as far as the Abelon data is concerned, like gender, length, diameter, height, and different kinds of weights. These are all different kind of weights, and the last one is rings. Basically, there are three genders of Abelon: male, female, and intermediate. Intermediate basically are young Abelons, and as far as Abelons are concerned, we cannot find the gender of Abelon when they are very young. Once they grow up little bit, then we can find their gender. So that is why some of the places the gender is intermediate, but basically these are the various characteristics. In the sense, if we want to use machine learning, first we should have captured some of this data, and from this data we can make further predictions. So that is what I wanted to convey to you. Now, as I said, we can use machine learning. Now, yesterday we had started with some box plot. This is what we were studying, but I did not give you the proper statistics. Actually, these are central measures of tendency which you have done in your school time, but I just thought that we should quickly revise those concepts, and then because we go further, because today again we have to study a little bit more of box plot in detail, the concept of box plot in detail. Now, all of you know the statistical measures, the central measures of tendency, but let us revise. What is mean? Mean is the arithmetic average. You have several numbers over here, I think almost 9 numbers, and do the average, that gives you the mean. Median is the middle value, central observation. In this case, definitely it is 20. Mode is the value that is repeated maximum number of times. Again, here you can observe that 10 is repeated twice, but 20 is repeated almost 3 times. So definitely 20 becomes the mode as well. Now, median is useful as far as the box plot is concerned. Let us try to again understand the diagram and then we check the example. Median is the middle value. Q1 is the middle value from the starting to the middle value. Q3 again the middle value in the second half. Or in other words, if there are 100 numbers, 50th number becomes the median, 25th number becomes the Q1, and 75th number becomes the Q3. In the sense, we are talking in terms of percentile, 50th percentile is the median, and so on. Now, what is interquartile range? Interquartile range is simply Q3 minus Q1. And yes, we are interested in learning outliers. How to identify the outliers? Just try to recollect in one of the previous examples. In the first example that we had studied, we had drawn the quantile plot. Just let me go back quickly uh, to get you into that. Yes, this is the quantile plot where we are trying to identify the outliers. That means those observations which are not in the normal range. Now, box plot is one more plot where we can identify the outliers. So, for that, yes, we need to have the Q1 value, the median value, the Q3 value, and then we can calculate the outliers. Now, again, for this, let us consider this set of observations. How many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Definitely Q2 will be the central observation. It is fifth plus sixth observation divided by 2. So you can say Q2 is equal to 5.5. Now Q1 will be the central observation of the first half. Now this you consider as the first half. So this becomes the Q1 value. Similarly, in the remaining observations, this is the central value. So this becomes Q3. Okay. So we have identified Q1, Q2, Q3. Now what is IQR? IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So we have IQR as 5. Now how to find the outliers? We have to find the range. First thing, Q1 minus 1.5 star IQR, that is we get minus 4.5. Similarly, the other outer limit that we get is 15.5. So as you can see, minus 5 and 40, the two observations at the two end, they are referred to as outliers. That means not within the range of minus 4.5 to 15.5. So this is one way to understand or recollect the concept of median, understand what is IQR, and understand what are outliers. Fine. Yesterday we had already drawn this box plot for the Abelon database, but what was happening? If you try to observe the last column, that is 8th column, which is actually the rings, let me go to the CSV again. If you try to observe these values, it is 0.455, 0.514, last value again 0.15. All these values are basically between 0 and 1, whereas the number of rings are 15, 7, 9, 10, and so on. In the sense, the scale of the values vary significantly, and because of this, just let us try to execute now the box plot. As far as definitely we have got the image, but let us try to execute. File open, let me check. Box plot Abelon, yes. Now here I have taken two box plots because we are going to modify the other one, but first we pay attention on the first one itself. Just you can observe, because I want to take it as a raw string, otherwise it does not sometimes understand the path clearly. Store the data in the data frame. Preparing a df new because I want to exclude the first column, which is the gender column, in the box plot, and we are drawing the figures. Let us try to execute. Right now we don't focus on figure 2, we focus on figure 1. As you can see, the scale is from 0 to 30, and that is basically useful only for the last attribute, that is number of rings. Otherwise, here it becomes very difficult to identify how many outliers are there. for the last column, that is rings, it is easy to identify the outliers. So now what is the solution for this? Yes, we can use mean and standard deviation to normalize the data. That is what we are going to do over here in this example, and we have done in this example. But there is other ready-made solution also available, in the sense, what we can do is, there is a module sklearn, and within sklearn there are two types of scaling options available: standard scalar and mean max scalar. Using it, we can make sure that all the data is scaled within one particular range, which is very good. But again, students, you don't have the module sklearn, neither they are being used in the examples that are shown to you over here, so we try to avoid that. What we try to do is, making use of the df.describe, we try to get the summary, that is the basic statistics, and from the statistics we have mean and standard deviation of each column. Again, try to just check the output of the data. As you can observe over here, we have mean and standard deviation of each and every column. Once we get this, then the things become easier. That means we are manually calculating and scaling the data of every column. For I in range 8, what we are doing, abelon normalize dot ilog all the rows I comma 1 plus I plus 1 equals, basically we are subtracting the mean and dividing the entire value by standard deviation. So we are trying, this step gives you the idea about what kind of little bit of normalization or scaling is applied over here. As I said, because we are beginners as far as Python is concerned, this is good enough. Otherwise, we should be using the modules that are available, that is sklearn, and within that module there is another sub module pre-processing, and within that we have standard scalar and mean max scalar. So now let us try to observe the normalized data over here. Now just try to observe this. Most of the values are between -3 to 6, but still here in the last column we are able to easily identify which values are outliers, and here it's difficult to identify the outliers. Yes, as I said, if we use mean max scalar or standard scalar, we can do it, but without that, how to identify the outliers? So what we do is, just go back to the Excel sheet. You know that for all the first few columns the values are between 0 and 1. Only the last column is creating little bit of difficulties as far as finding the outliers in each and every column is concerned. So what we do as far as the program is concerned, we make some change over here. Yeah, this is the, sorry, yes, here I will not include the last column, and I will try to execute the program. Again in figure 2 I forgot, the figure 1 it shows. So basically now they are little bit more scaled, but again if you can see the fourth attribute, the scaling is little bit different, and we don't, from the graph we don't exactly get how many outliers are there. So again you can remove this column and try to check, but basically like this you can identify the outliers. And remember, drawing the box plot is very easy. Just one method you need to remember, that is box plot, which the input comes from the data frame, and the box plot belongs to pyplot, which belongs to matplotlib. So I hope the things are clear. We try to go ahead. Here again you can observe the same graph. The only thing, the scaling taken over here is little bit different. It is from 0 to 3. In the previous example, the output that we saw, it was from 0 to 6. That is why the visual was little bit different. Now we try to check one more graph. This actually is the graph which shows scale data or normalized data. Yes, we say it is normalized abelian attributes. As I said, here we have employed a manual normalization approach using mean and standard deviation, but actually there are ready-made modules or ready-made libraries available through which you can normalize the data, and hence it becomes easier to identify the outliers and IQR. So moving ahead, one of the graphs that we have drawn in the previous examples is the parallel coordinates plot. There are multiple uses of the parallel coordinates plot. Uh, yes, one of the main thing is to identify the relationship between attributes, that is how closely they are related or not related, and also the other thing is, uh, let me go to it. Yes, you will get an idea about the characteristics of the attributes. Say this length, diameter, height, they are all the attributes. Okay, so we get an idea that okay, this orange part actually indicates the gender, which is intermediate. So the young abelians normally have less height and weight, whereas the older ones generally have a better height and weight. Now again, for this I have drawn this, so let me try to show you the graph that I have created. Let me, okay, this is the box plot. Let me close it. Let me open, and yes, this is the parallel coordinates plot. Again, very simple, nothing much. You open the CSV file, fetch the data from the CSV file. uh, Here I have not selected the last column because it is number of rings. I can select that also, and I try to draw the parallel coordinates. So let us try to execute. It's just taking little bit of time to load the graphics data. I have put some specific colors, that is why the colors are coming like this. Actually you can change any color. Now green shows I, that means they are intermediate, which means they are basically young abelians. And if you can see, the length, diameter, height, weight, all these characteristics have lower values for younger abelians, whereas for adult or mature or bigger abelians, you can observe the values are different. That means the values in the attributes are different for male as well as for female. But as you can see, from this parallel coordinate, there is some sort of correlation between the attributes that are close, say height and whole weight, or whole weight and sucked weight, and so on. Similarly here also viscera weight and shell weight. So yes, this is one very good way in which, through which we can identify visually the relationship between various attributes. Though we have something else also through which we can do the same thing. So again, let me close this. Sorry, I should have shown you the program once again. Yes. So again, what you can observe over here is pd.plotting.parallel coordinates. Now remember, there are multiple libraries, multiple modules available in Python through which you can draw the parallel coordinates plot. You can make use some methods of matplotlib, which I had shown you last time, and so on. Yes, this reminds me about one more thing. Today I will be sending you the data sets, uh, CSV file of the data set, that is Abelon and Rock versus Mine. So once if the data sets are available with you, then probably you can try and experiment the experiments that I am carrying out. Again, coming to the point, plotting dot parallel coordinates from pandas module or pandas library. Basically, if you are observing till now, for every graph there are few common steps which you need to remember. First, include the libraries, they are common. Then open the file and store the data in a data frame. Remember, data frame is a two-dimensional tabular structure where you can store the data. Select the part of the data frame on which you want to draw the graph. So that is, this are basically, and then plot the graph finally. So these are the common steps which are there. So once if you draw the graphs for any one data set, probably you should be able to draw the graphs for all of the data sets. So fine. Now going ahead, whatever I have explained to you is said over here. Parallel coordinates for regression problem, visualize variable relationship for Abelon problem. Now why this is regression problem? Because what we want to identify, just let me go back little bit. uh, yes, you want to identify how old is Abelon. That means you want to identify the age, which is a numeric value. Remember, age is a numeric value. Gender, if you take, is a categorical value. Because you want to identify some numeric value, that is why we have to study regression. Just we come back over here. Yeah, you can see variable relation. uh, 1 minute, just at the point that I was trying to tell you. Plot indicates significant correlation between each of the attribute and the number of rings measured. Yes, I was talking about this particular point, regression problem. Now why it is regression problem? Because we want to identify numeric value based on other numeric values. If we are identifying categorical values based on numeric values, then it would have become a classification problem. But because of this becomes a regression. Remember, classification and regression are in one way related to each other as well. Uh, so this just describes the features of the data set. Now again, the heat map. The use of parallel coordinates and heat map is almost the same. So what we do is, once again we try to check the heat map. In this, the heat map of uh, the colors in the heat map are different. Basically, if we try to check the graph that we are drawing, the colors may be little bit different. But as you can see, this particular line over here, the relationship between the attribute and itself, 7 and 7, 6 and 8 and 8, it shows a perfect positive relationship between the attributes. Now here it shows again a good correlationship. Say for example, if we take up this, they are neighboring attributes, attribute 2 over here and attribute 3 over here. So basically between the neighboring attributes, again if you take over here 2 and 3, 3 over here and 2 over here. So basically if you take any two neighboring attributes, it will still have a strong positive correlation, but the attributes that are far off, attribute 5 and attribute 8, what happens? The relation is not that positive, or we can say that the attributes are uncorrelated. Now let us try to uh, check it up over here. Just a moment. Yeah, we go to the program over here and we try to open the heat map program. Let me try to check over here, Python programs and heat map for Abelon database. Again, if you try to observe, let me write something, program to demonstrate heat map for Abelon data set. Fine. If you try to observe the steps for drawing any particular graph, three files that we are importing, pandas, CSV and matplotlib. In fact, if you don't import CSV, that may do. Then you are opening the file. Remember the path, this is the path where you are storing your CSV file. So if you are saving the CSV file somewhere else, then it is going to be something different over there. So then according to the location where you are saving the path, you have to give this path. Again I have put R over here. Sometimes what happens, Python does not exactly identify this slashes correctly or this as a file location, so we need to use this R to indicate that it's a raw string. We are storing the contents of the entire CSV file in the data frame over here, that is fine, and this is just this step may not be required, it's just an optional thing. Again this is also an optional step which may not be required. Plot p color and correlation. Basically we are calculating the correlation between the different pairs of attributes, that is what we are doing, and then we are plotting this, and finally plot.show. So let us try to execute. Yes, you will say the colors are completely different, but that may happen. Now just try to observe this particular straight line. The relationship between the same attribute is good, but if you try to observe the relationship between, say for example, the fourth attribute and the third attribute, this part, yes it is good, but when you observe third and sixth, which are little bit far apart, then that is not that positive. Yes it is, but little bit uncorrelated. So as a general conclusion, you can think that the pair of attributes that are closer will have stronger correlation. The pair of attributes that are not closer, that may have a negative correlation, or in fact they are not correlated. That is a better way of saying the things. Okay. So let me close this file and once again go back to the PPT over here. Fine. So this is the heat map which shows some different colors. Now, the question is how to use correlation for heat map to observe the uh, pairwise correlation for the Abelon problem. Basically, I have explained to you over here. Now here the colors are different, so basically the explanation that is given over here is based on the colors that are there in the previous slide. Reddish value is off diagonal cell is the plot indicate that the attributes are highly correlated. That is what I had explained to you over here. Uh, yes, sometimes this graph and this graph, they do not give the same analysis. That means here say if you try to observe certain values, then we don't get a clear cut idea that the two nearby attributes are totally correlated. So this is going to be possible, and the this sometimes indicates that the predictions for certain attributes may not be correct. Fine. That is all for this session today. Next time we are going to take up one more data set and we are going to study similar graphs or data visualization techniques. But let us try to recollect what we have done for the Abelon data set and what are the general techniques that are used. Also, let us try to check the previous example, which is of rock and mine data set, and there is a basic difference between the two data set. One is a classification example, another is a regression example. Why is one a classification and why is another the regression? If you try to observe, we want to identify the age of Abelon based on this characteristics, whereas if we try to open the rock versus mine or the sonar data set, let me just try to enlarge the values. Now over here, if we try to observe the values in the last column, it is R or it is M, that is based on the light that is thrown under water, based on what values are reflected. This column is basically a categorical attribute or categorical column. It contains R or M, and that is why it is a problem of classification, whereas the other one is a problem of regression. So that is why the graphs that are drawn to identify the characteristics are little bit different. However, most of them are common. So the first data visualization thing that we studied over here is a box plot. A box plot is basically simple to draw, there is nothing much in it. Just one method, let me try and show you. Let me open the file once again for the last time. Yes, just one method box plot you need to remember, which is in PyPlot, which is part of matplotlib module. So yes, but for this you need to have a clear understanding of what is median. It is a basic statistical measure which you have already studied as far as your school is concerned, and outliers are point which are not within the normal range, and this example basically indicates that -5 and 40 are outliers. All the data we have discussed. This is just one box plot and it gives you that these are the outliers, this is the central values, and some values apart from the central values, some values apart from the central values, the values over here and the values over here, they are outliers. So we draw the box plot for the Abelon. What we find is that the scale for some of the columns is quite different. So we need to make some modification to the box plot. Either we can remove, as you can observe, the 8th column, the number of rings we have removed over here, or we can normalize or scale the data. There are various techniques. Here we have specifically used the one where we are using mean and standard deviation, but modules are available in sklearn where we can automatically scale the data, and it will probably give a much better graph. Then the parallel coordinates plot to understand the relationship between the attributes and the heat map again. Yes, slightly the purpose of both parallel coordinates and the heat map is the same, but sometimes they may give some contradictory results as well. Sometimes they may give the same result, sometimes contradictory result. Yes, next time we are going to work on Wine dataset, and probably we will start with the next chapter as far as the last unit of Python is concerned, that is Python and data analytics. So that is all as far as this session is concerned. Thank you.